Okay, so that last video was day 10, which was Tuesday. I have no idea what the date is. Today is Wednesday. Still have no idea what the date is. Day 11. So we got up, and there's actually a really nice dealership there in Logan, just south of town. Huge dealership. Like most dealerships up here, it's like 85% side-by-sides, UTVs, ATVs, wave runners, and then like 10 bikes. But still a really nice dealership, and they had a lot of accessories. So we went in there hoping that we could maybe find a brake lever just on an off chance. They didn't have that, of course. We were looking to try to find some aftermarket handguards, Acerby or whatever. They didn't have any of that. KTM apparently makes like an upgrade handguard that has a metal bar in it, which is what they should have put on the bike to begin with, for an adventure bike. But no, they're trying to, meet a price point, so they didn't do that. And they didn't have those either. But he got on his computer and looked it up. He said, okay, there's this town called Pocatello that's up the road, I don't know, 30 miles from where we were trying to get to tonight, which was Lava Hot Springs, Idaho, which is where we were trying to get on day 9 when we got turned around on that nasty road. So they didn't have anything we need. We didn't waste too much time, just turned around, headed back up north, and we decided to just take US 89 and just run it right back out through Logan's Canyon the way we came in on whatever day it was, Monday night. And that was just a lot of fun. I mean, both kids really enjoy that road. It's really pretty getting up over the mountains and then dropping back down into Garden City on the other end on Bear Lake. And when we got there, we turned north on whatever that road is that runs up the side of Bear Lake. I can't remember. Lots of incredible houses all up and down the mountains and on the lake. We saw these tractors in the lake. I don't know what was going on with that. They were these big, the combine tractors you see at home plowing the big giant fields. And they had some kind of weird attachment, and they were driving in water that was probably about up to their axles. So I'm guessing the bottom's not that soft. I have no idea what they were doing. We couldn't figure it out because they were pretty far from us, but interesting. Anyway, we drove through a little town called Paris and eventually came to a T intersection, and I want to say that road was 30, 36. I don't have the map in front of me. I can't remember numbers like I used to. It runs back over the mountains, though. It's it's the next highway north of 89 that just runs right back over the mountains to the west. And that was a really cool ride. I mean, just very different mountains. It's the scenery again just changes so quickly from one thing to another. It started out as being these kind of smooth top rolling hills and mountains, and then it eventually became more the jagged, what you think of when you think of mountains, not that tall. And then we were coming down, and there was a dirt road, always looking for a dirt road, pretty close to Lava Hot Springs. And I really wanted to get Sarah back on something easy, just to try to get her confidence back, get her back to where she can do what she knows she can do, get her to believe it. She can do it. I mean, she's done stuff at home that's harder, but right now she's just kind of doubting herself, I guess. And it doesn't help that the bike's heavy right now, with all the luggage. So anyway, we turn on this road, and it's paved, but it's one of these little narrow lane and a half, up, down, back and forth, just kind of following the hills. Really fun. Little wheat fields everywhere, and grasshoppers. I mean, like, not quite biblical plague, locust plague, but I'm riding behind Sarah, and it's like, like you think of a boat going through water, and it makes a wake coming off each side, as it goes zipping through the water. She was leaving a wake of grasshoppers as she was going down the road. And of course, they're flying up and they're hitting me. And by the time we got done, my knees, my boots, my face shield, my bike smelled like cooking grasshoppers. It was disgusting. It was pretty funny. I think Daniel might have got some of it on his GoPro. But the road was really fun. It had a few little short gravel areas that she got through no problem. And then had one long area that was, I don't know, maybe 2 miles. Just really wide, level, smooth, graded gravel. And the gravel wasn't real loose. It was, clean tire tracks. One on each side and one down the middle. So she could just pick a track and go. And it was a lot of fun. Of course, Daniel's out front just cruising along. And eventually we hooked back up at whatever the highway is that runs east-west and rolled into Lava Hot Springs, which is a pretty cool little town. I mean, it's a little, what would you call it, tourist town. Think Eureka Springs, Arkansas, but a lot smaller. And I don't know what's going on here. Okay, looks like people looking for aluminum cans in the trash can. Anyway, we rolled into town thinking we were going to camp, so we stopped at the KOA. It's $52 for one tent, 2 people, 1 tent per site. Group site, 3 tents, 6 people, $125. It's like, yeah, we're not doing that. Stopped at a different site, and they're like about the same. So we rolled back into town, and which is a short town. And there's a little old hotel. I mean, you can see the sign over here. Yeah, it's so old it even brags about having color TV by RCA on the bottom of the sign. Some of the neon's out. And it's just an old hotel. The room's decent. It's not great. Sarah's kind of freaking out because she's seen a fly or a bug, or I don't know what it was. She's wigging out. We're right next to the river that runs right through town. There's a bridge right over the river, right where we're at. If you walk back behind the hotel, there's actually a hot spring coming out of a pipe just right there that's scalding hot. It dumps right into the river. It's pretty cool. I took some pictures of that. And they do tubing where they put in just north of the hotel. There's a little park on the other side of the bridge, and you put in there, and the river kind of snakes through town, and it's about a 10 to 15 minute run, and there's like 3 bridges you go under, and then you get out, and they've got trucks that just go back and forth all day long, and you wear a little armband to show that you paid, and they throw you on the truck and grab you tube and bring you back, and you can go as many times as you want. Depending on how much time you pay for. And I think the kids went for like an hour and a half, but that water's cold. I couldn't believe they went that many times. I went over and just soaked my feet in it because my feet have been killing me. That felt so good. It's basically icing my feet. It's so cold. And putting dry shoes and dry socks back on after that felt awesome. The kids eventually got tired of messing around with that. I went and visited with the guy who's building a really cool microbrewery here in town, and he moved back up here from San Antonio. He had 2 restaurants right there on the Riverwalk, and he and a couple other guys have moved up here, and I took a lot of pictures of it, but it's just a very neat restaurant that they're building. Have one of the big brick ovens inside for doing pizzas and all kinds of stuff, calzones. I want to say they're going to have 16 brew kettles, whatever the big stainless thing is, that they do everything in. They're little bitty ones. I say little bitty. They're probably, 500 gallons, maybe a little more. I got some pictures of them. But I talked to the guy. He gave me the tour, took me inside, showed me around. I mean, it was really cool. I probably visited him for 30 minutes. I want to say it's going to be called Eruption Brewing, something like that. They're supposed to have a website. I got it in another video that I made when I was talking to him. I got the name, but they're trying to get open by October for Oktoberfest, which is something apparently they do here. So about the time I got done talking to him, I headed back over to the tube place to see if the kids had come in because they didn't have their phones or anything on them. And they came walking up, and then they wanted to go play. There's a hot spring in the river. So I was like, fine. Sarah came with me over to the hotel. Daniel disappeared. Got my swimsuit on and all that kind of stuff. cut back behind the hotel through a little RV park, and there's a trail that follows the edge of the river, and you get back on the other side of the river, and there's hot water just coming out of the side of the hill, and it runs down across the hill and eventually dumps down into the side of the river through these little channels, and people have, stacked up rocks in little circles around it. So it's kind of cool because if you get in right where the water drops in, it's screaming hot, uncomfortably hot. As you move away, it cools off. The rock wall is tight enough that it keeps the cold water from the river out for the most part. Not perfectly, but enough that the water in the pools is from the hot springs. But as you pick one pool, the next pool, the next pool, the next pool, it gets progressively cooler. Or if you go sit out right next to the river, which is what I did, there's enough cool water coming through the rock that about 18 to 24 inches deep, the water's cold for about 6 inches. And then it gets progressively hotter to the surface where it gets pretty hot. So it's kind of crazy. I think I sat in there for 4 hours because you never feel like you're getting hot. You never get sweaty like you do in a hot tub and feel like, oh my God, I got to get out of here before I get back in. If I started feeling warm, I could just sink most of my body down lower into the water and it would instantly cool off. And if I started feeling cold, I could just kind of raise my body back up and it got really warm. So I was able to just modulate the temperature and just sit there. And, Sarah was out there. Daniel was running all over the place. He went back just upstream where people put in with the tubes, and he's helping push them out into the middle of the river so that they get caught by the current and carried downstream, because it's kind of hard to do that. So he's talking to everybody and their dog, and running around, exploring and all those kind of things, and having a good time. Finally it was like, I don't know, 7:45. It's like, we might want to be thinking about dinner. This is a little town and school has started back up here, so it's a bit of a ghost town right now. They're another week or two, the locals are telling us things really start to kind of shut down. The tube places shut down, the little shuttles shut down, some of the restaurants shut down, a lot like Eureka Springs in the wintertime in Arkansas. But there are permanent people here, and it's funny because we met a couple in the hot spring, and the lady's like, I've lived here for 40 years, and this is the first time I've ever come back here and sat in this hot spring. And I was just like, how can that be? I mean, this is awesome. I'd be back here like every day if I could, And then they have the fancy touristy hot springs. I got a picture of them. They're right here in town. It's like a real cool park, and they're neat little swimming pools, and they got tarps over them so you don't get sunburn and blah, blah, blah. And it's $10 every time you go in. So if you go in and come out to go get lunch and you want to go back, it's another $10. And it's like, whatever. The little place in the river is free, and it's awesome. And of course, there's trails that go all up the mountain. So I'll give you one guess where Daniel was for a lot of the time. If he wasn't pushing people out into the river, he was up there on those trails running around barefooted. I don't know how he could do that. It killed me. So in the river, the rock is all like crushed lava rock. And the big, huge rocks that they have everywhere, a lot of those are also lava. So you really want to be wearing some kind of river shoe or something like that. I left mine at home because I was really hurting for packing space. So I was barefooted, but boy, I was tiptoeing around real careful. There was one moment where I was trying to get over to where Sarah was in a different pool, and I lost my balance and had to step real quick. Couldn't really control where I was putting my foot. I found that one rock with my heel and just nailed it. So now my left foot's got a pretty good bruise on the bottom of the heel, which is, I already got heel problems anyway. So that wasn't fun. Anyway, it is what it is. I'll deal with it. So we finally got done with that. Decided it was time to get dinner. Walked down the main drag, which is a pretty cool place, and found this place that serves all kinds of gelato, ice cream stuff. And they're open till 10, so it's like sweet. So we went a little further down the street, someplace called 78th Street or something. I don't know. It's fine dining. It was good. I mean, Sarah and I split a fettuccine Alfredo with a really good garlic bread and a lot of chicken in it. I mean, even splitting it, I was having a hard time finishing my half. And I think Daniel got a big old monster burger like he likes to do, and he doesn't have any trouble finishing that. It was gone pretty quick. And then bugged out of there after we ate, and it was reasonably priced. Went back to the gelato place, and I have no idea what this stuff. It was blue, and it had chocolate something in it, and it was good. And I got one scoop, and this girl, I don't know how she was, maybe 16. It was her first week to work there, and sweet kid. She makes big scoops. I don't know if that's a thing up here or what, but I even asked her before. I was like, okay, how big are your scoops? Because I got burned on that before, and oh yeah, I made them real big, but the manager got onto my case and told me I had to make them smaller because giving away too much ice cream. It's like, yeah, well, that's what people like. So anyway, I got mine in a waffle cone. Daniel got 2 scoops for some reason. Sarah got 2 scoops of something in a cup, and I don't know what she called this little thing. It was like a little cookie thing. I can't remember. She couldn't finish hers. I couldn't finish mine. I ate all the stuff that was on the outside of the cone and maybe half the waffle cone and then chucked it. I got pictures of Daniel looking like a circus clown because he's all blue from the ice cream. I don't even think he finished his. And Sarah got maybe halfway through her 2 scoops in the bowl and chucked them. And then, of course, we're freezing. And, once the sun goes down out here in the mountains, the temperature drops pretty quick. I mean, it was probably, I don't know, in the mid-upper 80s this afternoon, so it wasn't too bad. As soon as that sun went down and you eat a bunch of ice cream, yeah, I don't know, 3-4 blocks back to the hotel, we were hoofing it and fighting over who was going to get the first hot shower when we got back to the hotel. We had set up our tents in the parking lot. It's one of these old motels where you kind of turn in and it's shaped like a C, and it's got rooms and you park around the inside of the C. Well, we were the only people here when we checked in, and so like 2 or 3 o'clock, the guy let us set up our tents because they were still damp from that rain the other night. We never got a chance to set them up and dry them out, so he just let us set them up in the parking lot and get them in a spot where the wind wouldn't get them and blow them away because it was pretty breezy. Daniel hadn't put his tent away yet, and Sarah and I had, so he had to go do that. So I got to jump in the shower and get a nice hot shower. But yeah, I think it's, I don't know, 11 o'clock. It was a good day. Sarah enjoyed the dirt road. She's still really, gun shy. She's just really doubting herself. So we'll just see what happens. We're going to try to hit tomorrow Pocatello, which I think is 30 minutes on down the road on I-15 maybe. There's supposed to be a power sport dealership there, and the guy in Logan told us that this dealership has the KTM upgraded handguards. So we're gonna run in there and see if we can't maybe get some better handguards. And then the communicators again. We had this weird thing today where I couldn't hear myself in my communicator when I'm talking. They call that side tone, when you can hear yourself talking in your ear. And that's one of the ways you know that we're connected. And apparently we were connected, but I couldn't hear myself, but the kids could hear me. I couldn't hear them. They could hear each other. It was in and out. I mean, it was just, we're having all kinds of fits with electronics on this trip. The good news is my headlights are back. I don't know if that's something getting wet somewhere and drying out and then everything works again. I mean, it's all supposed to be waterproof, but I don't know. So I'll try to avoid riding in the rain. So anyway, we're going to try to do that tomorrow. Originally we were going to try to head about 250 miles from here. I don't think we're going to make that. By the time we get there, see if they have the handguards, get those installed if they do have them, and then maybe try to head for a little town called Twin Falls. I forgot who it was I was talking to one of these past few days, and they mentioned that, and apparently there's a state park right there outside of town that's pretty nice, and it'd be nice if we could camp. We were really hoping this would be a camping trip, but it is what it is. We're doing what we can. This is kind of cool right here. I mean, even though there's quite a bit of ambient starlight, ambient city light from stuff, there's still quite a bit of stars out. Now, it's kind of cool. I don't know if I can get it in the picture or not. No, it doesn't look like it. Dang. So, how when you're riding around in a hilly area, you come into a town, a lot of times on the side of the hill, they'll have rocks piled up, like spelling out the name of the town or high school mascot or something like that. So they got a big giant L on the side of this hill out of rocks, like you would expect, but it lights up at night. So when you're standing at the hotel, yeah, if you're looking back that direction, there it is up there on the hill. I can't quite get it to show up on the camera. Anyway, it looks like a whole string of stars, you know, like some kind of UFOs or something, because you can't see the mountain at all. It's black. Kind of funny looking. But anyway, good day. We'll see how things go tomorrow, and we'll update then. So till next time, bye.